My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Yeah.
My name is Zainab Sammaz and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jan Faria and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Yes.
Take one. Well done.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paulini and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Ready? Play.
Well, hello there, and welcome to Talking Tennis. And those of you who watch the channel know what this is. It is my WTA power ranking. I do it for every slam. This Australian Open is no exception. And for those who are unfamiliar, maybe a bit newer, welcome. And essentially what I'm doing here is I am ranking from 10 to 1 players that I am most expecting to win the Australian Open title. Also gives an idea of maybe where I think they're going to get to. So if you're like the 9 to 10 range, I'm expecting them to make at least second week, 5 to 8, quarterfinals, maybe semifinals at a push, and then 3 to 4, the 4 and up is kind of semifinals up to winning the title. It's kind of where I'm expecting this to go. And yeah, I guess there's no reason to get started. I mean, at the minute, I would say anyone outside of the top 4 on this list would probably be a little bit more of a surprise, but there's definitely a fair few players in there that would be some, I'd say some unsurprising contenders, or at least I think have got some good momentum coming in. The order might be the surprise though. I always do some honorable mentions. If you want a full list of my honorable mentions, I listed them in the WTA weekly episode when we wrapped up everything from the United Cup and Brisbane and Auckland on the WTA side. And we shared, I put it to Mario, my honorable mentions list, and asked him which 2 he would put in the top 10. And you'll be able to see which of those obviously made the top 10 in a minute. But I think my main honorable mention I want to put forward is Deanna Schneider, who I would say is your probable Sophia Kenin-esque champion if that was to happen. They had very similar previous years. Schneider's 2024 was similar to Kenin's 2019, sort of young player in their career, making some really good strides, breaking top 20, consistently winning sort of lower level titles, getting to 1,000 semi-finals, starting to make some breakthroughs in Grand Slams. I would say with this one, I would say keep an eye on Deanna Schneider, because I think she could be making waves this Australian Open. Right, let's do the actual top 10. Number 10, Jessica Pegula. Jessica Pegula is coming into this without a warm-up. She pulled out of Brisbane, wasn't selected for United Cup duty, maybe didn't want to do it because she wouldn't be the number 1 player, and pulled out of Brisbane for some precautionary measures due to an injury she's recovering from. She is going to be playing Adelaide this week. This is recording before the draw took place in Adelaide in terms of like when it started. So I don't know how she's done. But in my mind, Jessica Pegula should be on this list because of kind of her track record in Australia. She's been to the quarterfinals 3 consecutive years. Wasn't there last year, bit of a dip year, and I think it would be very difficult to kind of definitively rule her out of making any kind of difference in this Australian Open draw. She's very much a consistent presence at the moment on the WTA Tour. Number 9, here's the left field one, Naomi Osaka. Okay, maybe not too left field. I think Osaka was generating a lot of hype in Auckland, and I know there was a lot of disappointment and concern when she retired in the final against Clara Towson. Osaka has won the Australian Open twice before. She seems to be playing a lot more comfortably with Patrick Montoglu. And if you look at the players she beat in Auckland, and she was up in the final against Towson when she withdrew. She is beating the players that you would expect her to beat. The question is what happens when she starts playing like the bigger name players, your top 20s or even your top 10s. And that's why I think there's a little bit of a limit of how high you can put her up this list, injury concern or not. But I think Osaka's impressed enough this week that she deserves to be on this list as the real wildcard element in this Australian Open draw. So Osaka is number 9. Number 8, Mira Andreeva. I can't believe I'm putting a 17-year-old on my top 10 power rankings. I'm trying not to buy too much into the Mira Andreeva hype, in the sense that I don't want to expect a 17-year-old to win a Grand Slam. I think you have to be a very special talent in order to do that. Andreeva is suggesting she might be, but I would say her trajectory is very similar to Coco Gauff's, in terms of like having similar seasons at equivalent points in their career. That being said, I think she did really, really well in Brisbane. She was one of the best players behind Sabalenka in that field, semi-finals, looked good all week, won the doubles with Diana Schneider. I think you would be hard-pressed to ignore Andreeva and the impact she could have, especially since she was darn near making quarterfinals on debut last year. And who knows, maybe she will get there this year. So for me, you can't ignore how good Mira Andreeva is looking right now. And I'm expecting her also to make some waves in the draw. Number 7, potentially ranked a little low, Zheng Qinwen. Last year's Australian Open runner-up is number 7 on this list, basically because she didn't play this week. She was supposed to play United Cup. She withdrew with an injury, probably precautionary. She apparently is in Australia. She's practicing. She's acclimatizing at Melbourne. But I think historically, when you look at sort of people who win the title in the WTA side, they generally need a warm-up, ideally in the first week of the year. That's one other reason why Pegula's ranked relatively low, is that she didn't play. So, yeah, for me, Zheng not playing might hamper her and has kind of maybe killed some of the momentum that she was building up towards the end of last season, especially when she played in the epic WTA finals match with Coco Gauff. So for me, she's number 7, and I think the 6 ahead of her have made a little bit two big waves in this first week to kind of put her ahead of any of them. Who are those 6? Well, start with number 6, Jasmine Paolini, friend of the show. Jasmine Paolini, 4th round last year. That was the start of maybe seeing the improvement that she demonstrated the rest of the season, winning Dubai, getting those 2 Grand Slam finals. And now she's looking to make a 3rd in Australia. I do think she might need to be helped out by the draw a little bit. She's coming into the number 4 seed, so it will make a difference. But I think the challenge for her is going to be how is she going to perform compared to kind of the leading players in the WTA Tour when she comes across them. She showed promise against Swiatek in the Billie Jean King Cup, and I think she's still showing that she will not go down without a fight. And United Cup and the performances she put in suggested that her form's not going to go away, that she's still going to very much, she's not going to tumble back down the rankings, as it were. I think she's going to prove that she's here to stay in the top 10. So that's Jasmine Paolini at number 6. Number 5, maybe a little bit hyped, but I think it's warranted, Karina Muchova. Muchova hit the ground running in 2025, ended how she was seeing in 2024, where she basically came back from injury and was playing like a top 10 player, and she played like a top 10 player at the United Cup, narrowly losing Swiatek and Gauff. Okay, maybe more narrowly to Swiatek, but having a great straight sets battle with her, dismantling Jasmine Paolini and fending off every attempt Paolini had to break her through basically playing really, really well. She was one of the strongest WTA forces at the United Cup. She loves Australia. She famously beat Barty here in 2021, semi-finalist. I think if she gets a favourable draw, I think we're going to see her in the quarterfinals. No problem at all. Fitness permitting. I think the way she's playing, only the very, very best can beat her, to be honest. And that's why she is number 5. Number 4, Elena Rybakina. Rybakina coming into this historically very strong in Australia, made her United Cup debut first week, kind of led Kazakhstan to the semi-finals, played pretty well, and then was only taken down by Iga Swiatek in what was a pretty close match, actually. It was a close straight sets match anyway. Yeah, kind of starting pretty solid, I would say. She's given herself a good foundation. We know she's strong in Australia. She is Brisbane champion from last year. She Australian Open finals from the year before. Took a heck of an effort from Anna Blinkova to take her down in Melbourne. Rule Rybakina out at your peril. She is going to be a factor in Melbourne. Number 3, Iga Swiatek. I think there's signs that Swiatek has made some progress on fast courts. I mean, I don't think she was ever that bad on them, to be honest. But there's been some senses that she can beat her rivals on them a little bit easier than she was before, or at least keep up with them. You know, Rybakina, she beat in the United Cup. I get the sense she ran out of gas a little bit in the final. Possible injury niggle that could be carrying over into Australia, which is raising a concern. She is a former semi-finalist here back in 2022. I think it would be foolish to rule Swiatek out, especially as she's gunning for number 1 after this tournament, getting that ranking back, and she's got a reasonable chance of doing it, given the points losses for both her and Sabalenka will kind of make them fairly even throughout the tournament. That's going to make a fascinating story to follow. So for me, Iga Swiatek is number 3, and that's mainly because she lost in the final of the United Cup to the number 2 player, Coco Gauff. Effectively, they were playing for the number 2 ranking on my list, which means my number 1's pretty obvious. But Coco Gauff, playing the best tennis I've ever seen her play, unbeaten in the United Cup. Pretty strong in Australia, coming off a semi-final from last year where she was the only player to really challenge Arina Sabalenka in that tournament. And that wasn't even playing her best tennis. So I'm interested to see what she can do playing her best. I think Gauff is looking pretty formidable right now. But it's going to take a heck of an effort to take down the number 1 on my power rankings list, which is Arina Sabalenka, the number 1 seed, the 2-time defending champion. She has not lost an Australian Open match since 2022. In fact, only Elena Rybakina has shown anything like being able to beat her on Australian hard courts the last couple of years. I do think that Swiatek and Gauff are in the mix who could potentially take her down. But the fact that she won Brisbane, not even anywhere near her best, other than showing some glimpses when she needed it to get that title in Brisbane. Yeah, Sabalenka is kind of the main force in Australia right now, and it would be foolish to pick anyone other than her as the title favourite in Australia. So there you have it. That's my top 10 power ranking for this 2025 Australian Open. Quick recap. Number 10, Jessica Pegula. Number 9, Naomi Osaka. Number 8, Mira Andreeva. Number 7, Zheng Qinwen. Number 6, Jasmine Paolini. Number 5, Karolina Muchova. Number 4, Elena Rybakina. Number 3, Iga Swiatek. Number 2, Coco Gauff. And number 1, Arina Sabalenka. Lots more to come on the channel for all of our Australian Open content. We are going to have draw reactions when the draw comes out on Thursday. Damien's going to be bringing us updates from qualifying on the men's side. We will be doing ATP and WTA weekly episodes to fully break down the main singles draws, and keep an eye on the channel for regular kind of updates on our thoughts on all the action from the Australian Open when that gets underway on Sunday, the 12th of January. Very, very excited for this year's Australian Open. I hope you are too. And I'm looking forward to watching it with all of you. Until then, take care and keep talking tennis.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.